Today we're going to be learning how to use Tinkercad, which is a website where you can do 3D modeling. So I'm going to share my screen so that everyone can see how to use this. So
Okay.
there we go. Everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay. So this is Tinkercad. As I said, it's a website where you can make 3D models like these. So how it works is you've got basic shapes like this that you'll put together and combine to make more complicated shapes. So to first off, how to use it, you're going to need to make an account, which is pretty simple. Sign up with your email and your birth date. If you're under 13, you'll need a parent's approval. Over 13, obviously you don't. Once you've got your account, you sign in. And they've got options to sign in for students and teachers, but you'll probably be using a personal account.
Is it free?
It is free. Free from
Okay.
any computer that has the internet.
Okay.
You don't need to download or install anything.
Okay.
So here we have, this is called the dashboard. It's got designs you've made previously. You can make a new design. And they've got a few features up here in the front that I'm going to point out before we show how to learn, like make new designs. So up here in the gallery, they've got designs that people have made. We've got some featured ones here, or you can search for something specific by clicking on this magnifying glass. So for example, dinosaur. So these are all different dinosaur projects that people have made. You see they've got cute little simple ones. They've got really fancy dioramas. They've got that looks more like a dragon, but and then any of these projects here, you can click on them and then copy it to edit it yourself. It looks like it's going to take a moment, so I'll just quit that for now. And up on top here, you've also got Learn, where you can see different projects to lessons and projects to show you how to use it. So the starters are basic controls. So anytime you use Tinkercad, if you need a refresher on how to use it, you can check these starters. Lessons are more complicated, like simple projects. How to make a chess piece, how to make a ruler. Or if you go to projects, these are more complicated projects. They're more challenges, like making a wind farm, making columns, a fountain, all these kind of things that'll challenge you a little more to learn more about what Tinkercad can do. And then whenever you want to go back to your dashboard, you click on the Tinkercad logo up here. And see, we've got that design I was copying before is now ready for me to edit. So do we have any questions so far, some of the basics, like features of the site?
No.
Okay. And if anyone has any questions, to speak up. So now let's get into how to actually make a design. So we click on Create New Design here. And this is called the work plane. So this is where we're going to actually be making our designs. And over here, we've got some basic shapes that you can use. So to start with, to take one of these shapes, you just click and drag. There it is. Now, it might be a little hard to work on something if you're looking at it in the same way all the time, so you can rotate. So to do that, you right click and drag, which lets you look at it from any angle. Or we've got this box up here. You can left click and drag to do the same thing. Or if you want to look at it from one of these faces, you click on that, rotate it that way. Now, if you want to zoom in, you can use the scroll wheel on your mouse. Just scroll in or out, or use these plus and minus buttons on the side to do the same thing. Now, if we want to move this object, it's the same as putting it onto this work plane. Just click and drag. Simple as that. Now, say you want to move this around you want to rotate it. If you zoom in here, we've got all these little boxes in the corners and these little curved arrows. So if you want to rotate, you click on one of those curved arrows and just slide it around like that. And if you want to make this shape bigger or smaller, you'll click on one of those boxes and you can either drag it. If you click on the white boxes in the corners, you can do either dimension. If you click on one of these black boxes, you can change just that dimension. This white box at the top you can use to make it taller. And you see when I click on those boxes, we've got these numbers appearing. Those are the exact dimensions, and currently it's in millimeters. So we can click that and type in a specific size if we want to get it an exact size. Like that. Now, if we've got a few different objects here and we want to select all of them at once, you can either left click and drag a box around them. See how they all have blue outlines around them? That means they're now highlighted. Or we can click, hold down the shift key and click on another one. Now they're both highlighted in blue. And that is useful because sometimes you want to move two things together.
Oh, okay.
Now another way to move them is there's this little black triangle up top. You can click that, slide it up and down. Now this has a little hat. Now I can move those together. They'll stay exactly the same like that. Now, one of the cool things about Tinkercad is you can combine shapes to make more complex ones. So say we want to make this into a big arrow shape, like that. Select two shapes, make sure they're both highlighted. And then up here, see where it says group? It looks like two shapes that are merged together with no lines between them. Now it's all one big shape. Now that we look at it from the top, we see that's not quite lined up. So we want to fix that. So now we click on Ungroup. Now they're two different colors, which means they're two different shapes again. So now I'm going to show you how to align things, to line them up so they're all the same level. So that's this button here, Align. When you click on that, you see it's got these circles appearing. And you see if I click on one of those, it lines everything up straight to that circle. If I click them all to here, it's all going to line them up to that circle. Now that's not the shape we want, so we can undo that. Click on this button, undo and redo. So now we've got everything lined up the way we want. And we could regroup that to get that neat arrow shape. Now what you can also do besides grouping shapes together is you can make holes to cut away shapes. So now let's put the sphere here and up. When you select any shape, you can change the color or you can make it a hole. Over here are the basic shapes. It shows you it has two different shapes that are pre-made as holes, but any of these shapes can be made into holes. And I'm just going to delete those because we don't need those right now. So now we've got this sphere hole in this arrow shape. So if I select them both and group them, now we've got a cutaway, sort of half a sphere in the arrow. Now, besides these basic shapes here, you can scroll down to find some more shapes. Or if you click on where it says basic shapes, they've got a whole library of other shapes you can use. You've got letters and numbers. You've got connectors, which you can use to make, they're like little fasteners if you want to make a ball jointed something. Or we've got shape generators, which are some of these you can like edit in some way to change what it does or what it looks like. like that. And then I'm just going to delete that. Now, as I said before, right now it's set to millimeters, but you can change that if you want. If you click on Edit Grid in the bottom right corner here, you can change it to units or bricks if you want to work in like Lego shapes. You can change the size of the work plane. So if I want to change it to an 8-inch work plane, I can do that. And right now, it is set to snap to 1/8 of an inch. So if you move it, it moves by an 1/8 of an inch increments. But I could change that to smaller increments if I want to make very small adjustments. So that's the basics of how to use Tinkercad. Does anyone have any questions? Do you want to know something more specific, or do you want me to clarify anything?
Can it be done on a laptop or does it have to be a desktop?
It can be done on a laptop, any computer. I'm not sure about tablets, but I know any like
Oh,
computer that's got a keyboard and a screen you can use it on.
okay.
Any other questions?
I got some practicing to do.
Mhm. Well, I'm going to click on the Tinkercad logo and go back to show you something else. So whatever you make, it saves automatically. So see, I didn't have to click save or anything. It's already right there.
Okay.
These are a couple of designs I'd copied before, and a couple I made myself. So I'm going to walk you through how to use all that to make something practical. This bookend. So I'll click on Tinker this. So this I'd use combining shapes and cutting away shapes and resizing and moving to make this. Whoop. I'm going to undo that because I accidentally clicked one of those boxes to resize it. So let's walk you through how I made this. I started by taking a box, then I need to change the height. So I made that 0.5 millimeter. Make a big shape. Now to get that arch shape, I took a box, a cylinder, zoom in so I can see it better, and rotate that. So right now I'm holding down the shift key so it goes by 45 degrees so it's easier to get what I'm looking for. And now I can move it over to this box. Move it up till it's at the level I want. I'm going to align these like that. And then I look at that from all angles and it looks like it's not quite aligned how I want. Looks like it's a little higher, so it kind of curves away. So I'll just move that back down a little. There. And if I like that, I can group those. That looks like a nice arch shape.
Uh-huh.
And I make that, let's make it 2 millimeters. And then make it bigger. I don't want to move that up. I want to make that taller. There it goes.
Uh-huh.
Now to cut away that cat shape, I'll take a cylinder, rotate that on its side, and make it big, tall oval. Now I only want about half a cylinder, half of that oval, so I'll move it down like that. And then for the head, like that. So now you can also, if you just want the same shape again, you can, there it is, copy and then paste. So if you wanted two identical, if I wanted to make like a snowman perhaps, or if I wanted to, let's make this a
Mhm.
mouse, make little mouse ears. So let's make that small. Small up. And then copy, paste that over. Now I'm going to select the two ears, group just those, and then select everything and align them. So by grouping the ears first, those are going to stay in the same position relative to each other. Nope. Let's move this back a little. Now let's center that. There it is. So now when I group all these together, all those holes and the arch, I got a mouse cut out. And I can line that up with the bottom. And line that so it's all nice and neat. Now I've got a mouse bookend. And I could 3D print that and put on my bookshelf to prop up all my books.
So how did you get rid of that opposite side of the circle? You just hit after you aligned it. How did you get rid of the front, the shapes that you didn't want, like
The
all the
hole.
yes.
So when I put a hole, and then I group that with a solid shape, then anything that's a hole is cut away. Like this.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to do it; just does it.
Yep. Just make
Okay.
a hole, overlap it with a shape, and then group it, and anything that's a hole is cut away.
Okay.
Do we have any other questions? All right, so now I'm going to show you how to share a project. So like I showed you before, we've got that gallery of different projects.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, you see this says private. So this is something that only I can see. But if I want to make it public, I can click on this gear here, go to properties, change that to public. So then anyone could see this in the gallery, which also means that I could share the link with someone and then they could look at my project later. So let's go save. And then there's that link. So if I wanted to, I could copy this link, send it to someone in an email or text message and say, look at this thing I made. You can look at, you can tinker it, you can download it, you can show it off. So we send the, in the description of this program that whatever you make in Tinkercad, you can send it to us and then we could 3D print it for you and give it to you during curbside pickup. So that's how you're going to do that. You go to what you decide what you want to send to us, go to properties, change it to public, and then give us that link. Email that link to ivesquared@nhfpl.org and tell us you want to 3D print that.
Oh, that's good.
So has anyone been following along, and would you like to show us what you've made?
Oh, I haven't made anything.
That's all right.
I'm just learning.
Would anyone like to try it and then show us as you're in progress? Okay, I'm going to stop sharing so we have give anyone else a chance. Let's see, I thought someone had a raised hand. Who was that?
Get my laptop up.
Let's see. Yep, it's posted on Facebook. So right now it's being streamed on Facebook. As soon as this workshop is done, the video is going to be available for you to watch from the beginning.
Oh, good.
And then also later on, it's going to be in YouTube.
Mm-hmm. You wanted to make the bunny. Okay. So I didn't make that bunny, but I can show you how I found it. So I'm going to share my screen again. Let's go Tinkercad. So here where it says copy of rabbit, that's one that I'd gotten from the gallery. So I'm going to gallery, and this is all different models that people have made and shared publicly. So I'm going to share rabbit. And here's a bunch of different rabbits that people have made. So this one, if I click on copy and tinker, it'll make a copy of that I can work on. I'm not going to click on that because I already have a copy and it takes some time to save over. So I'm just going to switch back to my dashboard. Click on that. And let's tinker this. Let's look around at this. See all the different parts it's made of. So we see it's got this carrot. Looks like it's a half sphere or a paraboloid shape. Actually, it looks like both of those that have been dragged over and rearranged like this. And let's align those. Oh, not that. That's similar to the carrot. Like that. They might have stretched that out and of course resized it, but there's the basic idea. We've got, let's see, where are some egg shapes? Egg shapes might be under, let's see, characters. Here we've got egg, we've got that bunny ear. We've got spheres, we've got, these look like, they were just like boxes, like cubes that were resized and recolored. So all the basic shapes are here. And you can practice making your own bunny by taking those shapes and rearranging them. Does that give you a good idea of how that was made? Yes, good. Any other questions?
Well, I just started a page. I'm in an account, just fooling around with it right now.
That's fun. When you first make an account in Tinkercad, it pops up several lessons that you can learn the basic that you can use to learn the basic controls. Or if you feel confident after this tutorial, you can just close out of that and start messing around. It's fun to play with.
Okay.
Can mess around here and make more complex shapes. Actually, let's go this and this, make that a hole, and Pac-Man, sort of. Now it's Pac-Man. You can make a little ghost to go with it. All right. Anyone else have questions or want to share something?
Is this every week or just once a month you do this tutorial thing?
This is the first time we've done it. If people are interested, we can run it again. Or since this video is recorded, you can rewatch it anytime from our Facebook or YouTube channels.
Oh, okay. And what's the YouTube channel? Just New Haven
Celeste,
Live.
you know what our YouTube link is? Or YouTube URL for our YouTube pages? Maybe I can find that for you. Okay, so I'm going to put that link in the chat box. So there's our YouTube page for I've Squared. So you can watch our videos there. It won't be up, this video won't be up on there immediately because we have to upload it, but pretty soon.
Okay.
Does anyone have a question of like how to make something specific if you have something in mind and you would like some ideas on how to get started?
I don't even know where to begin.
All right.
Just want to, because I came to the library when I first saw it, like last year, pre-pandemic, and I was like, wow, that's something I want to learn. And boom, it was pandemic.
Yeah.
So, well, at least I can still try it from home. But,
well, if you need an idea of like what kind of project to start with, you can try some of those lessons they've got.
yes,
Or another option is when we do the 3D printing class, we have people make a small house with Tinkercad to demonstrate they know how to like design and then upload the print. So let me show you. Let's get.
And then maybe while you're showing that, I can say one of the things that I actually start with was making earrings. I was obsessed with cactus at the time, like a few years ago. So I was making little cactus and then making just a hole to do the earring, and I made a lot of them. Like, so earrings is something easy and fast to do.
So if you want to try a simple house to get started, we've got a box here. We've got a whole box. So if we want to make a hollow house, we need to hollow it out. Now, if I merge those together, it would just erase the whole thing. So we need to make this bigger. And we've got that, the hole centered inside the box. And if we group those together, we've got a hollow box. And then you can add a roof. We've got this triangle shape is actually labeled roof, or you could do a round roof. A little more mushroom shaped. Now this is why you need to look at it from all angles, because from this angle, it looks like it's set on there right. But when you look around, it's not covering the whole back. And we look at it from the side, it's a little too high. So you look at your design from all sides to make sure it's the way you want it. Now, if we want a door, we need to take a box, make it door sized. And then it has to, you don't want it just touching, because if I group that together, it's only got the tiniest indent. You need to make it go all the way through the shape. So it cuts it away like that. Redo, group. There it is. And then you would do the same thing to add a window. Drag over a box, make it window sized, drag it up. And as I've said, this is the simple house is what we do for a starter project to learn a 3D printer. But besides, it doesn't have to be a simple house like this. We've had like cool towers, we've had silly mushroom houses, we've had whole castles, we've had a big old like modern house with like several rooms and porches and anything you can think of. Get creative with it. So if anyone tries making something with Tinkercad, we'd love to see it. So email it to us, we can 3D print it. If you want, you can share a picture of it and then we could share it on our Facebook page. Show us what you make.
Okay.
So I'm going to give it one last call for questions. Anyone questions or comments?
Well, I got as far as step one. I got the, I signed up,
Okay, that is step one.
and then try some of those learn
Mhm.
learn how to tinker.
Yeah, start with the simple projects that shows you how to combine things, move things,
Yeah.
make basic projects, and you
Mhm.
can expand on those.
Mhm. So when I send a copy or the link,
Mhm.
so what is it printed from, paper or?
It's plastic, so 3D printers work by it takes a roll of it's looks sort of like a wire made out of plastic that's called filament, and it heats that up and then squeezes it out like a hot glue gun, and then builds it up bit by bit in different layers to make a 3D object. So we'll be
Oh,
using that to 3D print whatever people make. So if you're making
oh,
a house, a 3D house, it'll come out exactly like that, made out of
okay,
plastic.
okay, okay, okay.
All right. Well, if anyone has any more questions after this, you can email me, ivesquared@nhfpl.org. I'd be happy to answer them for you. We can give you one-on-one help with if you have specific questions about our projects, or if you want to 3D print your model, send that to us and we can print that out for you.
Okay. And what's that address again to send it to
It's
you?
Ives Squared. I'll put it in the chat box.
Okay.
Ives Squared at nhfpl.org.